Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Live Extra on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I'm Anoluwapo Idowu. Now, the race for Agodi has taken another definitive turn this morning as Senator Sharafaddin Ali officially received his INEC nomination form as the gubernatorial candidate for the All Progressives Congress APC in Oyo State. And this development shifts the political landscape into high gear, signaling the formal commencement of internal consolidations and strategic campaigns within the state's main opposition party. But what does this mean, that Senator Ali's emergence, what does it mean for the internal cohesion of the Oyo APC? And how would this formal step after the dynamics of the broader gubernatorial contest ahead? And that is our Daybreak gist this morning.
Exactly, and Amaluwaimi Adelako. In a short while, we'll take you through the newspaper headlines where today's front pages capture the stories driving conversations across politics, security, education, governance, and the economy. Joining us to dissect the major headlines and the issues making the biggest impact across the country is Public Affairs Analyst Lekon Shobowale. Later on the program, we'll transition into Trend Watch, where we'll track the conversations, digital shifts, and social issues gaining rapid momentum across the country.
And before we leave you this morning, we'll visit some of the stories, reactions, and conversations continuing to attract attention across the country.
Definitely. Political transitions are milestones in governance, but the true value of any political process lies in its ability to address the urgent needs and expectations of the citizens.
So this morning, we examine both the political shifts and the societal expectations. Welcome to Daybreak Live Extra today.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Luayemi.
Exactly. So just like you mentioned, what we have for just this morning is Sharafaddin Ali receives INEC form as APC or your Kuba candidate. And then I think a particular newspaper, I don't know why they decided to, write their headline like that. They said Adelabu loses as Sharafaddin, receives, his nomination form, or I say nomination form, receives his INEC form. And then away from that, let's just walk you through the story. Sharafaddin Ali on Thursday formally received the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC nomination form as the All Progressives Congress APC governorship candidate. And at the event, the senator also unveiled his running mate, that's Michael Adedeji. And then even before now, I think weeks and months, a lot of persons, came out to say this will be his deputy. I don't know how they were able to arrive at that conclusion, or maybe because of what they could see at the time. And then Adedeji, who is 46, is an economics graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University and hails from Iwate, Ugolowa local government area of the state. And then speaking at the ceremony, the Oyo State APC chairman and former deputy governor, that's Moses Alaki Ademo, called on party members to remain united and work collectively toward reclaiming power in the 2027 governorship election. And then one thing I also like to mention is the fact that Nigerians, or let me say people over your state, are talking about the fact that certain persons were not around yesterday during the event. And I'm talking about Adilabu, who contested alongside Senator Sharafaddin Ali. We have Senator Folari as well. Excellency Florence Ajimobi, they were absent during that event, and Nigerians are asking. The chairman is saying, the Oyo State chairman is saying, let's put our differences aside and support the candidates, because the candidate is the candidate of APC. And then these people who are big shots in the party were not available. And Nigerians are asking, are you sure that these people are interested or are going to support this whole agenda of they want to take over the house, the state government house, come 2027? And that's the conversation for this morning, because, people can speculate to say, it's not certain that these people will unite, for the election, especially because of the internal wranglings, and then because certain persons are not happy with how the primary election went. And this is not the first time that we are seeing this, speaking about the APC in Oyo State. I remember there was a by-election last year, and then even before the election, the APC, they had a terrible fight. I mean, the ones that were in your state was a terrible fight. We saw the videos, across social media, and then it was a bit obvious that they were not going to claim that seat because of the crisis in the party. And now this is another problem. And even this election is bigger than the by-election because it's for the governorship election. So this is the conversation this morning. APC as a party or your state, do you think they are ready to support their candidate, even though a lot of them have come out to say we're going to support him, and that we have people who are still aggrieved about the last primary election?
Well, while I will not try to hold brief for the APC or your, well, I think there are certain things that we must also highlight, which are very interesting to look at. First, let me take it from the angle of Senator Sharafaddin Ali, and maybe to look at its antecedents, especially at the Senate House. He, of course, represents your South Senatorial District, and in the last election, the 2023 Senate election, he won with about 111,513 votes to become that. And so you might want to say maybe what your APC is trying to do is to look for someone who is not a first timer in that sense and who has gotten more like a national recognition because he served at the Senate level. And of course, if you had served in that position, then you are adjudged to be a political figure that is nationally recognized, right? So I think that's one of the things APC is trying to do. But the problem will still, but let me also speak briefly about Adedeji, who happens to be related to Zach Adedeji as well, of course. So I'm seeing a lot of things. And then not just that, the fact that he's also from Ogbomoso, Ogoluwa. And so you can tell that, okay, what they are trying to do is not just get someone who is not a first timer in the person of Sharafaddin Ali, but also someone who is not from maybe Ibadan, because you understand how the votes come from Ibadan in massive numbers, right? So maybe they're trying to do this to spread their bread on many waters so they can have it when the elections come. But anyway, I'm looking at a way for them to say they want Adedeji, who is from Ogbomoso, and they want Sharafaddin, who is from Ibadan. So building that strength, that numerical strength maybe, or the expansion of votes in that sense can help them come 2027, come the election that everybody's waiting for. But one of the things that is going to decide that, as from my own purview, is this: what will decide it is if there is internal crisis, there's going to be a problem. Has there been internal crisis? Maybe yes. And that's one of the things we can first tick. Because why? One, they had party members who wanted to contest for the same thing. And it wasn't just a nobody. It was somebody who served recently in the capacity of the Minister of Power in the country. So, he resigned. He resigned to come join this race, right? So if you say, what can they do, right? I think the only thing was one of the things that one of the party executives said yesterday, that unity is the only thing that can make them win. If they are divided within the internal structure, it's going to affect them come 2027. And that's just a no-brainer. It's obvious to the blind, right? But I think one of the things they can do is if they can have an understanding to give Adebayo Adelabu something. Maybe not something small, but maybe something big at the maybe federal level again.
Another appointment.
For compensation, because it is that. So I tell you for a fact, I really am not an APC person, but I've seen a lot of people who are pitching their tent where Adelabu is to say this is the person we support. In fact, some still did not believe that the APC or you decided to go for Sharafaddin Ali instead of Adelabu, because there were a lot of conversations about it, even the president being in the know as to how that came to be. Others were saying the president was
at some point, both of them were claiming, the president, is supporting me.
In fact, Sharafaddin Ali, in his acceptance message yesterday, was saying that he wanted with a special thank you to the president. And of course, if it was, that was the same thing Adelabu said the last time, that he's not sure that the national caucus or the president is aware about. And there are a lot of conversations, but for whatever the case is, it's still politics, right? Everybody is Adelabu's word against Sharafaddin Ali's word. So everybody's just playing the words, whichever way they want to play. But I really do not care. What would really help your APC now to take it from the PDP that is ruling in the state, or should now say PDP APM, but anyway, to take it from the PDP that is ruling in the country, in the state right now, what they can do is unity. Without unity, there's still going to be internal fracture, and that fracture is going to affect them massively. That Sharafaddin Ali is a good contestant, that does not really, it's credible, it's not credible, it's not the conversation. What matters is, can they come together and hold hands together? Yes, Yoruba saying that says, like if they come together they can win. That's what I'm trying. I don't know if I'll be able to translate that, so forgive me for that. But yes, it's just to say if they can hold hands together, they can do so much. But without holding hands together, I'm so sure that eventually, maybe what they are afraid of will happen to them. But I'm hoping that there is free, fair, and credible election in the country. I'm hoping there's no chaos. I'm hoping everything goes as planned. But this is a good one for the APC because they are already moving from internal party politics now to the campaign politics itself. So the campaign is going to be stronger if they have it now, which they have done. So they can start working on what do we do? Campaign. How do we go? How do we set this in? So all of those things is a good one for your APC. But I hope they get the unity together.
Exactly. And it's a fine place to leave that discussion this morning. We take a short break, and when we come back, we move on to newspaper headlines and analysis. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
And just this morning, an elder statesman in the country said something that all 36 states are in full support of the state police that we have as a conversation. So that's coming from Oyebamiji this morning, that yes, there's so much support. Of course, we also understand that the Conference of Speakers, the chairman of the Conference of Speakers also spoke to this issue and said, you know what, this is going to get our full backing across all the houses of assembly across the country. But that's about the state police and many other stories that will track on the front pages of the newspaper today. Welcome to this segment of newspaper headlines and analysis, where we check into the print and bring you stories that are breaking and developing across the newspapers this morning. And I won't do this alone. I have with me in the very beautiful studio of Dominion Television, yes, once again, Sir Shibowale. Good morning to you this morning.
Hello, good morning.
You are also an elder statesman, like I would call you.
No,
not yet.
You are. You've been in the thick of things as to journalism for quite a while.
I'm a young statesman.
Okay, maybe the young one, sure, but whichever way. If you call yourself young, what do I call myself then?
Yeah, a little statesman.
All right, so let's get into the papers. I mean, there are many stories that we can look at. But let's start from our very own. We just had a conversation about the Oyo APC, and I know you've been in the know as to what has been unfolding from the conversation of resignation from the Minister of Power to contest. Unfortunately, he came back and there was nothing to contest for, and that, all of that issue. I want you to speak to it briefly before we get started.
So let me tell you one thing, going back to the history, going back to the days of the years of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, one thing that is very peculiar to the progressives is that most time progressives, they select, they choose. They don't go the way of probably the conservatives that used to conduct primary election and all the stuff. But the progressives, they look at your antecedents, they look at your value, and they decide who they want. Let me give you an example. During the days of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, during the old Oyo, that was 1979, 1983 or thereabouts. The late Paimani Alayo, they wanted to be governor of old Oyo State. Late Chibolage also wanted to be governor of Oyo State. They have to, George War, and they selected late Chibolage to be the governor of old Oyo State. And they pacified the late Papa Emmanuel Alayode that say, let us give this to Bolaigi, then we give you another thing. And at the end of the day, when the government was formed, they gave late by Emmanuel Alayode the Commissioner for Education of the then Oyo State. And that has been the way of progressives. You understand? Progressive, maybe because of the new generation of progressives that are coming on board now. That's why some of them don't understand. So the progressives will tell you, this is where we're going, and this is where we are going. The president, directly or indirectly, has decided that this is the person that is going to contest on the platform of the APC, and nothing can ever change that.
I'm interested in your thoughts. Do you think Adelabu is not anywhere close to Sharafadin Ali?
Sometimes politics can be so funny. It is not a matter of whether Adelabu or Sharaf Ali is close to Adelabu or not. It is, the president, he means the only person that have that prerogative power, that singular power to decide who, this is the person that I want in Oyo State. And let me tell you, Anu, so many things that we don't know, you understand, can lead to that. So many consultations, so many meetings, but not among the members of the progressives, maybe in Oyo State. But I know that the president will have consulted widely. Let me give you an instance. During one of the meetings with some of the leaders of progressives in Oyo State, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president said, I've made an inquiry about Sharafadin Ali, and people were telling me that that man can attend 4 or 5 parties on Saturday. That is a politician.
For Sharafadin Ali.
Sharafadin Ali. That is a politician.
But it's a party crew now, a thing to look out for in choosing political candidates. That somebody loves to go to parties, loves to be outside.
It is part of politics.
So you have to be moving.
You see, for you to be going to parties, for you to be going to 4 or 5 parties in a Saturday, that shows you are accommodating. That shows you are
social.
You are social. You are a grassroots person. You understand? It is not. See, when we talk of parties, we have levels of parties. Even to naming ceremony of a local people, you see, Sharafadin Ali. I've been a political observer. I've been a political reporter in the last over a decade, so I understand all these things. And I know him. I know Adelabu. You understand? So Sharafadin Ali, to the best of my knowledge, has been a grassroots politician. He has been a local government chairman. He has been the SSG, so the state government. He happens to be the first chief of staff to the governor in the country. He's the first chief of staff to the governor in the country. And at the time he was the chairman of Udua. You know, he has almost seen it all. You know, compared to someone that is coming from a corporate world, you understand that, you know, corporate world, you know, they may not really, you know, a local government chairman, do you know what that means? As far back as when local government, when they still have all this autonomy, you know, access to funds. So the man has been on ground for years now. So when the president made that decision, the president have hundreds of reasons to take that decision.
You know, one last thing before I leave that story, and it's very important that I ask you this, that we understand it. In fact, some people's point is why they would select Adelabu over Sharafadin Ali, because Adelabu has the money, he has the bag to throw around, especially for election. But you know, I think the APC must have considered that as well. So maybe if we put it side to side to say who has more money back, who has more money or support for the party.
See, let me tell you, sometimes money is good in politics, but sometimes money don't work in politics. In 1999, former governor Lamidi Onalapadeshin of blessed memory won the governorship contest of Oyo State. How much does former governor Lamadeshin had then? Compared to what
but it's like times have changed, and you need a lot of money to go around to
that was what that was what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. In 2019 in Ogun State, former governor Ibukle Amosun, after winning his own election in APC, moved to APM and ran a campaign, a very strong, is state-based campaign, state-funded campaign for Honorable Abiodun Akinlade, then of APM. You know, the fund was there, the state apparatus was there, everything worked for former governor Ibukle Amosun against the incumbent governor Dapo Abiodun. But you know, it is, yes, money can work in politics, but sometimes money will work, your goodwill will work, your antecedent will work.
Hi. So I don't want to pick out your words like word for word, but I think what you've said is the APC knows what it's doing as a party to have selected Sharafadin Ali over Adelabu.
Yes.
But maybe time will tell.
Sharafa Ali is a politician. You know, Sharafa Ali is a politician in all respects. You know, Sharafa Ali has been a grassroots man. Sharafa Ali has seen it all. You know, in the last 8 years in Oyo State, you know, we have seen the governance of former Governor Seyi Makinde. The governor has done so well, but you know what many people are saying that, you know, possibly, you know, we need a different experience. You know, Governor Seyi Makinde came, you know, yes, as at 2019, he came from a corporate world. You understand, and then as a businessman, as a owner of oil company, all this stuff. But now, we are okay. Let us have a different experience. Bayo Adelabu will also be, if Bayo Adelabu, you know, won that APC Gubara primary candidate, it will also be coming from a corporate world. But people are saying,
but it's also served at the federal level as a minister.
See, can you Bayo Adelabu is a corporate man. You know, he has worked in banking industry all his life. He rose to became the deputy governor of Central Bank of Nigeria. So, you know, in 2019, you know, he contested for governorship election, he lost. In 2020, he contested, he lost. You understand? So, he has not had, you know, when we are saying that Sharafa Ali was a local government chairman, he was the secretary to the state government, he was the first chief of staff, he was the chairman of Udua group of company, now he's a serving senator. Can you compare the two in terms of political experience? It is incomparable.
Well, I've gotten the point that you're making. Let's just move over to some other issues, right? There are so many other issues to look at, particularly the state police. I've not had a one-on-one conversation with you ever since this became a thing. But of course, Oyebanji also came out recently to say all 36 states in this country are in full support, and then they will give it speedy approval. That's according to Oyebanji. But just a sub-writer under that story, according to this day newspaper, says Bamidele creation of state police is a child of necessity. That's one of the things that's been a conversation. That is he ripe for us to have it. Some are saying very well, like even overripe. Anyway, says National Assembly building mechanisms against its abuse. Okay, because of course there are still some shortfalls and perceived loopholes that they could fix, right? And that's also in the conversation. Discloses that constitutional legal framework will minimize governors' excesses. But let's speak to that issue very briefly. I know there has been issues about governors can use it to their own advantage and profit here from this and all of that. Yeah, but what do you think can be done right to ensure that this amendment or whatever is going to be as a working document in the country is done to the best interest of the Nigerian people?
Let me tell you, this is this is time to show patriotism, in the size of the governors, every Nigerians that loves this country, that want peace in this country, that wants safety in this country, must support the state police formation. That it's been long overdue. I know when you are talking about restructuring, so many people have been clamoring for restructuring. What is restructuring? This is what we call restructuring. We are talking about getting so many things out of the exclusive list, of the federal government, taking it to the state, Now you are talking, look at the high level of insecurity across the country. Every time the governor will be saying that they are not the chief security officer, they are not the chief security officer. Yes, you are not the chief security officer, but you are the one collecting security votes. So what is wrong? They will be telling us they will call their state commissioner of police. The commissioner of police will still go back to the IGP to take order out also. The creation of state police is bringing an end to all those things. Looking at the content of that bill, the state governor will have to appoint their own commissioner of police. They have to be in charge of their own state police commission. So many benefits, and of course, just like we have Amotekun in the southwest, you understand, the governor can just at the tips of his finger call on the commander of Amotekun, do this, and it's just a replica. That is, it's just a replica of the Amotekun, but now it is coming, more formalized. This is coming modernized and uniformity, legally backed by law. That now we now have a state police that expectedly 90% of the officers of the state police ordinarily should be an indigene of that state, and that is what we need. Okay, look at what is happening at the Odoyo National Park. We have been looking for our little sons and daughters and their teacher over 40 days now. It is very difficult for an outsider, someone that doesn't have the knowledge of what the environment and the surroundings of the state. You understand the terrain of that Odoyo National Park to just bump in. Now look at what the likes of Sunday Gba and others are doing. Now they are making use of all these guys. They are making use of local vigilantes. But at the time when we'll be having the state police, it will be very easy because it's going to be people from that exit. You understand, that will be serving at that local area. They are going to be the state police officers in that local area. So there is in all those areas, they understand the terrain, just understand the area. They can easily go in and rescue people, and it will even be very difficult for anybody to now be doing hide and seek in all these bushes, because the people that are there, the state police officials, they are indigenous of that area. They understand their localities, they understand their communities. You cannot compare it to someone that they transfer someone from Kano State to come and be the DPO of Kishi police station, in a local government. How can that person understand? You understand? The person you need to make use of the leaders of the community, the local vigilantes, and they are not all these people. They are not being paid. So there is limitation to what they can do. So when people are talking about restructuring, when people are talking about they want the best for this country, the best are now coming out. These are what people have been clamoring for even pre-1999.
Yeah.
So I believe every peace-loving Nigeria, every Nigerians that want this country to move forward, we don't need to be appealing to conference of speakers. You don't need to be appealing to governor. If the governors like, let them take advantage of state police and start misbehaving.
But it's like that's what I wanted you to speak on very briefly. And there's a saying that whoever pays the piper, they takes it in. And the question is, who foots the bill? Is it the states or the federal?
I know before now, we have our governors taking security votes. Let us ask our governors, what are they using the security votes for?
So you want them to use the security vote for this?
See, aside from security votes, there are still some, okay, in some of the states. Take for instance, in Lagos State, we have Lagos State Security Trust Fund. During the time of former Governor Abiola Ajimobi, may God rest his soul, we have Oyo State Security Trust Fund. You understand? Where you have the likes of Dangote or Tedola and all of them, Tony Elumelu, donating to that cause. And of course, even if it is a token from the federal government, definitely there will always be a budget allocation for that. That okay, all the 36 state police commission, okay, we have 30 billion naira for you. Okay, maybe the state can share this. Of course, maybe 1 billion, maybe 1.5 billion. You understand? Supported by the security votes of the governors. What are they using the security votes? When you see governors taking security votes, you know, they get buses, they get cars, they get patrol vans, they get gadgets for our police officers, for their various police commands. Yes, you know, these are the produce of the security votes. But now that they're having their own police command in their own states, that is their own now, you know, they are going to be the one appointing the state commissioner of police, you know, after all this project. So now they now have 100%, you know, authority. They now have, they don't need to go to Abuja, they don't need to call any IGP because they get so many things done. So, you know, even at that, even with their security vote, you know, it is just normal that some government will be thinking that if I'm taking 1.5 billion naira as security vote, why do I need to spend as much as 1 billion naira for a federal government police outfit? You know, why do I have to spend 1 billion naira for a federal government agency, security agency? You know, so now that I have my own, you understand, for the security and safety of my people, if I have to spend all the security votes on this agency that is under me, that I have direct access to, that I have direct command to, yes, I can do that.
All right. I think there's a lot of conversations around the security vote and all of that, and I think we'll also keep our fingers crossed and see what becomes of that. Just recently, too, in the news, we had it that some U.S. troops were recalled back to the U.S. just this morning because of the success they had just recently. And that's also a conversation. But then I wanted us to move to, I don't know if you're abreast of this story of a fake council that was created. And of course, that's also on the news, right? It's on Vanguard newspaper. Adeyemi fights back as police file 8-count charge against him. Federal government budgeted 1.3 billion naira for fake council, right? And it was a thing. When I saw this, I was like, can this happen in 2026? And yes, it happened. Can this happen in a country that has a king and chiefs, like we say in Yoruba land? Yes, it happened. But what do you make of all this?
Let me tell you, you know, the man that you're talking about is not new to some of us, you know, journalists, you know. That this is not the first time that name will be coming up, but I don't want to go back to that. But let me tell you, there is this saying that there can never be a smoke without fire. You know, let us be sincere with ourselves. Who is the guy
Adeyemi
to have ensured that the national budget, you allocated billions of naira,
1.3 billion naira
into, you know, into the national budget with a fake federal government agency? Who are those responsible for preparing national budgets? Okay, the national budget passed through the National Assembly. No, see, you know, we are Nigerians and we understand all these things better. You understand? I'm not going to indict anybody. I'm leaving that to the court of law.
But what you've said is that's indicted a lot of persons. It's like police should carry everybody.
You don't
because
understand.
There's a line.
You know, you see, people are talking about this guy. Yes, we know this guy. But people are talking about this guy. And the federal government, do you know what it takes to prepare a national budget in a year? And this guy, successfully ensured that, even forget about this guy. And let me tell you, this is just one of hundreds of all these
Fake councils.
sad cases. Even after preparing the budget, National Assembly will call for budget defense. Who is defending this budget? Now that we know, assuming we don't know, the money will go out. Who is sending the money out? This government is now going to its fourth year now. This is just coming out. That means we have had like 3 years budget going down the drain. We are not going to indict anybody, but the federal government should be magnanimous, should be sincere, and should be honest. All those agencies, because this thing is processes and procedure. You cannot just be telling us you file 8-count charge against Adeyemi. What is the meaning of that? Who prepared the budget? Who put a fake agency into that budget? The budget went to the National Assembly. The budget was passed. Budget defense. Who defended the budget? So many questions were. They are just using these are distractions. 8-count charge, 100-count charge file against this guy. This guy is, to me, is not important. Is irrelevant in this case. Yes, he is the prime suspect, but there are so many questions to be asked. They are mentioning Gbajabiamila, they are mentioning Minister of Finance. Who is the director in charge of budget in Ministry of Finance?
Revenue mobilization and fiscal allocation as well.
You understand? Who is? They have been giving out this money. What caused the problem between them is the issue of give me 400 million naira. You are still owing me 200 million naira. That was what brought out this thing. If they have been able to resolve these things among themselves, if they have not been so covetous and very selfish, if they have shared this thing according to the agreement, nobody will be hearing all these things.
So in your opinion, you think there are still a lot of fake councils in this administration?
A lot. But that's why I don't know, but the president can, there is a little to what the president can do. You understand? But it is good for our people to be sincere to their fellow countrymen, to be sincere to the nation. We have a lot of these agencies, we have a lot of these councils collecting money illegally. Putting you are in this country. You heard about budget padding now. So many things have happened in this country that we are believing that in this generation, in this digital generation, most of these things should not be happening. There are ways through which most of these things can be fished out of our national life, can be kicked out of our national life.
Right.
We should not, in Nigeria, we should not be having something like this, a fake agency. What is fake agency? Is even this one that you are talking about, is it a fake agency? It is not. Because some people are running that agency. Is it not fake?
Well, I think it's a very sorry case if you have to consider.
It is not a sorry. It is very sad. It's very sad that we keep saying, repeating the same narrative. We don't have money. The country is broke. The country is, and we have people taking out free money. It is so sad.
Anyway, so let's move on. I want us to also maybe delve a bit to politics now, and that's talking about the ADC. ADC wins key legal battle was what the Daily Trust has as the front page. But the Punch newspaper took it a step further to say, Atiku vows 2027 fight as court clears Mark-led ADC. So there's been fight, we understand. Mark Aregbesol's emergence meets ADC rules. Electoral Act, courts has declared that to be a fact. ADC chair celebrates court victory, urges united opposition, and Atiku now says government's plan to weaken opposition will fail. Right, there's a lot of conversation as to who is supposed to be recognized, who is not supposed to be recognized in the ADC party, and we see Aregbesola here and there, we see Mark here and there, and then on the flip side we see Atiku. But Atiku is now coming out to say he vows to fight the 2027 even as the court has cleared the Mark-led ADC. But what do you make of all of this issue in the ADC?
Well, let me tell you, there is nothing so special about that. Yes, like some people will say, our former vice president has been in this game since 1992. You know, 1992, we are still very young, and yes, we read about it. The 1992 SDB Just Convention. We read it. How the allies and associates of former the late winner of June 12, 1990 presidential election, late Chief MK Abiola, how some of his associates, appealed to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to step down for Abiola, which he later did. Fast forwarding to 1999, where he was elected as the Vice President of Nigeria for 2 terms. From there he moved to AC, from AC, ACN, PDP, APC, PDP, ADC, and that has been the trajectory of former Vice President. So, if he's going to fight in 2027, it is not new. That has been the style. And but talking about the ADC winning,
the court case,
judgment
yes.
Yes, it is not surprise to me. You understand? Because I've been saying it. 2 instances. Number one, as we speak, there is a subsisting judgment of the Supreme Court that said that courts have no rights to interfere in the internal disputes of
Political parties.
And that was the judgment of the Supreme Court, Julius Abure versus the Labour Party. Court has made that pronouncement that any internal disputes in the political party, there must be internal mechanism
To resolve
the crisis. So you go to Supreme Court 100 times. I've been telling some of our colleagues that nothing good is coming out. You understand? You go to Supreme Court 100 times, the Supreme Court will always refer to its judgment. Supreme Court can never contradict itself. What the Supreme Court can do is to better or further interpret its pronouncement. So it is certain that is how that case will go. Second one, Leke Abijide that made this suit is no longer a member of ADC. And you cannot be, you are a member of APC and you are interfering in the matter of ADC. Yes, you are elected on the platform of ADC, but you are no longer a member of ADC. So what is your interest? Ordinarily, you should not be a party to another political party affairs. So on those 2 premises, the case is just a gun issue.
So you think Atiku does not have a case?
No, see, let me tell you, what case again? Okay, the court has ruled that the Raf Nwosu, handed over the leadership of the party to Mark and Aregbesola legally. You understand? So, the court, in fact, they even asked Abijide to pay 10 million naira to the ADC. You understand? So, it's for me, I love it. It is a good thing for our democracy because so many people are worried that are we not going towards a one-party system? Yes, I'm so happy that now
They can all
there is
focus on
nothing like
election.
there is nothing like a one-party system in Nigeria. They can all now go to the field. Atiku has vowed to fight for 2027. Yes, we can only wish him the very best of luck as he continues its fight. But we now know that we now have another strong opposition against APC. Democracy can only survive when we have a very strong and articulate opposition. So it's a good one for democracy.
I think, like you mentioned,
Yes.
Thank you very much for your views. Right, just in one word, I would like to also speak to this issue. In a new partnership recent, Nigeria has secured another $1.25 billion World Bank support to boost jobs. Just your one word to that.
What do you want me to say?
We understand the debt situation of the country, right? Is it necessary?
Let me tell you. Some will tell you that, United States of America, they are the highest how will you describe them?
Like
They have more depth than Nigeria. But what we are saying is this: yes, we can take loan, but what is the essence of the loan? Are we using that loan to develop our country? Are we using that loan for infrastructure development? Are we using that loan to grow our nation? Are we using that loan to take care of our people? You know, but the most how will I put, what kind of adjective can I use? You know, don't go and take loan for fake agencies. No, that see, you don't.
I get the point.
Take loan.
I get the point.
Use loan to develop our country, but don't go and take loan and give to the likes of Adiyemi. You don't. You know, it will be so sad when you take loan and you embezzle the loan.
Because you still pay it back.
You will pay it back.
Service it with a lot of money.
But see, when you take loan and you develop our nation, and you develop your people, and the youth are happy, we have a lot of employment everywhere. You empowered your people. We have appreciable numbers of infrastructure development. No, there is no problem about that.
Yeah.
Loan is meant to be taken, and loan is meant to be paid back.
I get.
Yes.
Very valid point you've made this
Yes.
morning. Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Sashi
much.
Bowale, for joining us again on
Thank
this
you so
segment.
much.
And of course, we'll now be back shortly to round off the story or the program in just, in the meantime, just after this break. Stay with us.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For booking,
Welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. And of course, we move on to Trend Watch this morning. And what we have is coming from the President of Nigeria. And then he says, Tinubu playfully calls First Lady Yalakara following Akara controversy. And of course, that happened yesterday. The President on Thursday jokingly referred to the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, as Yalakara during a public event in what appeared to be a light-hearted reference to the recent debate sparked by a comment on petty trading. And you remember, I think it was last week Friday that we discussed that particular one where the wife of the president, Excellency Oluremi Tinubu, came out to say that it doesn't cost much to start akara business, start roasting corn, kuli and the likes. And Nigerians did not take it well. But then, I don't know, later some Nigerians came out to defend the Excellency to say our target audience was not the entire country. She was referring to the market women, the elderly ones. Let's take a look at the video before we continue the conversation.
Gentlemen, good evening. gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, my dear wife, the First Lady, Yalakara.
Coming back, and then just to add this to the conversation, Vanguard reported that a video of the ventured by Asuro TV show Tinubu smiling as he greeted guests before introducing his wife with the nickname. And just like we are seeing, or just like we saw in the video, the president was smiling while he said that. So let me turn to you before we take comment this morning.
Well, what do we expect? Everybody is making a mess of it. Like everybody making jokes out of it. I mean, that's what we do best in the country. Some have even called us very theatrical, very comical nation, and it's true because everything that probably looks serious, one of the ways to douse the tension is to make a joke, and then that's what the president has come out to say. But we understand the different outlays and the reactions of people about why she said what she said and to whom she said it, and that's okay. But anyway. I think we can continue to joke and call ourselves Alakara.
Okay, let's take a look at the comments of Nigerians before we say BY on the show. And of course, TTLM is saying, I think it is better we criticize the First Lady of Nigeria about what Nigerians and Nigeria is going through. So Baba President Tinubu will hear. It seems that is the only means of getting to him. If you heard about Nigerians call his wife the First Lady Mama Kara and Kuli Kuli. Right.
And I can't call the name. Anthony, I guess that's his name. Anthony Ike says, "Is Nigeria not cooked? Where una president and first lady they use una catch cruise?" See that picture. Fine picture.
Okay, fine picture. And then Aliyah is saying, "Thank God, saying I first call Ayalakara. Them no arrest anybody. We go use the name Tonta, really, and be just tread carefully, basically."
While Tinubu's playful jab at his wife may amuse, it does nothing to mask the harsh realities Nigerians face under his administration: rising insecurity, inflation, and corruption. Nigerians deserve leaders focused on urgent national issues, not distractions that gloss over. That's Obi Chronicle saying that.
And the final comment is coming from Dan Whiskey, and he's saying, "Everybody just they catch cruise." I think that's reality this morning in the country, and I want to believe that this particular video will trend for days or weeks, especially because it has to do with the president himself. And it's a fine place to leave the discussion this morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Oluwayemi Adelapo. I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.
And thank you for joining us all through the week. My name is Anulu Akboido saying bye for now.